All right, let's get it. Yeah, we're back once again with the OTD pod, NBA panel edition, round 4, I believe. No Billy, as you can see. He was too scared, I guess, to talk about his Nets. Had a really good time, but whatever. He's not with us today, but we'll ring in his Nets. We'll ring in his Nets for the new year. They deserve some praise nonetheless. But anyway, I really don't have much to say on my end other than let's get the pod underway. Did want to hand it off to Tom because he's got some flowers to give us, so I'll give him the floor for at least 2 minutes here to
Nah,
send
I
us
was Joe.
off. What's
I was
good,
Joe.
Tom?
AMD champion though.
Yeah,
Might be
yeah,
them.
yeah.
This is the ball
Fantasy
pod though.
football.
We've officially transitioned over to full ball. We'll close out the NFL playoffs, see how it goes, but we're all up from here. Knicks are above 500. That's really the focal point. That was really the cherry on top. Giants clinch, followed by Knicks matinee, beat up the Suns, the down bad Suns, which we can get into. But now let's run it. NBA time. Happy to be here.
All right, yeah. Congratulations,
GG.
Tom. He did he took down Shane in the championship in our fantasy league, so flowers to him. But yeah, like you said, perfect segue into the new year. Even though a lot went down last night in the NFL, I don't think we need to get into it on this pod, but yeah, crazy night in the NFL, but let's get on to the NBA. All right. So I don't know if is there anything really hot going on in the NBA that we want to address before we just start straight up easting about it? Like I know we said we went through the over unders enough, but like I feel like it's a good basis for us to like start with, but we don't need to. What's good?
One thing I'll say really quick, and this isn't like hot, but I actually read this tweet today. The Pacers are 2 wins away, I think, from their projected win total, like from Vegas, which is pretty funny because we're not even at All-Star break yet. So I thought that was pretty cool. You guys are kind of, I don't remember like who picked their over or
Pacers.
Yeah, you guys went their over. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. Me and Dan have been a little bit like overhyped on the Pacers, probably if we're keeping it legit. But I'm down. I love the Pacers. I was looking at it. It wasn't.
We both had their unders.
Classic.
That is so classic. All right.
No, but I'm just
nice.
I remember
We're all over them though, definitely.
Like in the East, their like points per game, I think was like maybe second behind the Celtics. So like if you're putting it up against the East, their offense is like super legit. Obviously their D is like leaves to some to be desired. But I fuck with the Pacers. I mean, I know we could really quickly get into like the Suns and a couple teams in the West, but for the most part, I think we all agreed like it is very much so a toss-up in the West right now. I mean, obviously the Grizzlies are still there, but even they faltered a little bit. What's good with the Nugs? I mean, are they arriving? Like, I don't know.
Dude, we had this conversation off
T-Wolves last
camera.
night.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is this. I think, the West is definitely up for grabs, and I feel like that is a pretty good, like, summation of it. And we don't have to go too deep into it, but like what you guys were talking about earlier, how like Haddock, you said you would take the top 4 teams in the East right now over like those are the elite teams. And I said I would throw the Nuggets in there. Like I think the Nuggets are, me personally, I think they're as good as they just beat Boston like 2 nights ago and Jokic dropped another triple double. But I think they're definitely on that Cavs, Nets, Sixers kind of like range. So yeah, like if you're gonna name the top 4 elite teams and those are the top 4 from the East, like I don't know, I think the Nuggets like have to be there. Like they're the 1 seed and they probably have the MVP. Like it seems elite to me. I don't know, but it's still early.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, we could start there. I think that's what we wanted to get into the most. I mean, not that I think the Nuggets are. I mean, yeah, they're the 1 seed. Hopefully, they can continue this out. I would actually take 4 teams in the East over anyone in the West right now. I think they're kind of all
including the Nuggets
over the Nuggets.
Yeah,
not the Sixers. I would take in like if it was like a neutral site game right now. I think, and like that's just where we are. Like, what do you want to call that? The power rankings, or just best teams? I think right now the Celtics. I think they'll continue to integrate Rob Williams, but I would definitely have them as like the number 1 best team. Like That's who you kind of look after if you're in the East. But I mean, the Cavs, the Bucks, and the Nets, I all think are just streaking right now. They're all playing incredible. I think all of them are really a liability to be the 2 through 4. Like they're all going to have an incredible record. I think all above like 52 to 55 wins in that range. And it's going to be a toss up because you're not going to want to be the 4 seed. I think they would all rather see each other than see maybe the Celtics at the 1 seed. But I really like that. And then I didn't even mention the Sixers. So I just think the East is so dominant, and it's going to come from one of those 5 teams where like the West is really just taken out of a hat. Like the Warriors are, in the play-in, I guess, right now, but we're not going to count them out come playoff time. So I just think the
Yeah.
East is kind of separated a little bit. You can kind of see exactly where we'll be focused on in April, late May and June.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
guess
That's fair.
that's fair. That's fair. And like I think it's interesting because when we talked about the 4 teams in my head, I honestly feel like I still thought maybe you meant the Sixers over the Nets. Like I don't know if I'm convinced the Nets are all the
Yeah.
way back. Like the schedule has been weak. And the Sixers have played well too. I mean, honestly,
What I
like the
said.
Sixers have played well. So I don't know, but I think
Yeah,
that's a good I think that's a good segue into like let's just break it down a little bit further, each team in the East. So Dimich literally dropped 71 last night. I mean that like dude, I
Funny.
texted my
Yeah.
dad. I texted my dad and I was like, nah, like no typo, legitimately 71. Because I was like, he
Yeah.
probably would think it's fake. But yeah, so what's good with the Cavs? I mean, if we're talking top 4, I don't think it's egregious to say that they would be the 4th, right? Like they still haven't proven it in the playoffs, although Dimich coming into Cleveland has been like so seamless. And it's crazy because I feel like that's actually usually not how it goes. Like the first year in, the guys like already seamlessly integrated and they're winning immediately, especially for a team like the Cavs, who, I mean, I didn't feel like they had to like a definite winning culture yet, but they're there. They're like almost all the way there already. So what do we think about the Cavs? Like, do we think it's is it championship or bust? Like not even like
No.
the finals?
Not
No,
yet.
not the finals. Like is it championship of the is it like what's the word? Fuck. Right before the finals. Like what is it not called the championship?
Are you
ECF.
talking about conference finals?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
conference
yeah,
finals.
conference.
My bad. I'm thinking of baseball, but yeah, is it
Uh,
conference finals or bust for the Cavs, or like are we
I would
still
say,
like,
I mean,
not do much?
you definitely want to see something, especially from how well they've played in the regular season already. If they lose to any of those other 4 teams we mentioned, then I think you can build from there. Like if they lose a close series to the Sixers, it'll be disappointing, but like they're not gonna change anything. Same with Bucks, Nets, Cavs. If they lose to someone worse, then we can talk about like a disappointing year. There needs to be a change. This team is so young and loaded, and like I just feel like everything's kind of falling into place. I would not be surprised if they went to the finals. Like I think it's already time. Like Dimich, you'll take against anyone in the East as just like a pure playoff scorer. Like he could go head to head with Giannis, kind of in a different way, but go head to head with Tatum. Like he can put up, he can match guys in the playoffs. Like if it's any scorer in the league, like he's already shown it again and again that he could be the guy in the limelight. My only one thing, and I want to see what you guys think about this, is Mobley is so good, but he hasn't played a crucial role on this team, and it's a little awkward just because Jared Allen is so good. Mobley is like playing like this kind of like stretch 4, like kind of cover their best guy, and he really hasn't taken a step offensively. That like threatens me when you have like a big guy like Jared Allen like in the middle of the paint, and like what's Mobley supposed to do? Like think about like Jaren Jackson like kind of running around and he can hit like a couple open threes, or like even
Yeah.
Draymond, like similar to that. And like Mobley just hasn't filled that role exactly. Like I don't think anyone's like moving on from Mobley. Obviously, is like he could be generational talent. It's just interesting to see what the best version of him is, and if it's with Jared Allen, who's playing well. So I think that's like a tiny. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was gonna say I agree. I think it's just way too early to. It's almost like it's weird for Mobley because I don't know if he thought they were gonna be this good this quick, and I don't know if the Cavs thought they were gonna be this good this quick. Where it's like Mobley clearly needs to develop his shot, like you said, like that Jaren Jackson open 3, where he could also
Mhm.
just play amazing defense. But yeah, he hasn't
Yeah.
taken a step forward offensively this year. Like you said, I think that's a great word. Awkward. It's really just like an awkward spot for him right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think
I
anyone's
don't
too worried. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we had this discussion like over the weekend. Like, it's obviously not like a lack of skill. He's just not like aggressive enough, and it's kind of weird because with this Cavs team, like they're already like they don't need Mobley to be like their third option in order for them to be good. Like he's not on a team where they kind of need him to produce so much in order for them to win, right? Like if you look at like a they weren't from the same draft class, but like a Bankero, like he's just gonna have such high usage and average 25 a game. It's just because the Magic suck and that's what they need him to do. It's like the Cavs, they don't like need Mobley to do that, but if he did do that, it would make them, that much better. But yeah, like it's like I don't think it's like championship or bust or ECF or bust for the Cavs, especially because it's their first year together. I was looking on NBA.com. They're actually first in defensive net rating, which like definitely caught me off guard. I didn't like think of them as like a good defensive team, but when you have people like Mobley and Jared Allen, like that makes sense. Yeah, I think they're legit contenders though, for sure. Obviously, like we said, like D-Mitch 71, like that's
Yeah.
just insane. One thing I will say, and we said at the end we might do like hot takes. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I was thinking about after that 71-point game, like D-Mitch might be first team All NBA this year. If you like Luca and D-Mitch, like name a better guard than D-Mitch right now. Can you?
Yeah.
Steph's hurt.
Probably not.
Dude, if you're just talking like shooting
Ja's been
guards, I
hurt.
don't even-
Like
Yeah.
it might be D-Mitch, like which is crazy. He's never even done that. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
all things
I don't know.
considered.
I was just
like,
thinking about that. Like that's like a legit possibility, which
That's
is
a good
Yeah.
point.
yeah.
Because he's putting up numbers now. It's
I
not
was
like
going
the
through it
Cavs
and
are
I'm
just
like, dude, he
good.
literally might be the second best guard, like statistically in the league right now,
I guess it'll be
So
like Ja, like Steph, Ja.
yeah, it
Yeah.
depends how many games. I don't know if Steph's gonna get there with the games played. They're really stingy with
Exactly.
that. Like first team, you gotta play like 72
Yeah.
minimum, maybe.
And your team has to be
Um,
good because, like, I mean, think about,
yeah,
I mean, not to bring it up already, but Braun the last couple of years, like I mean, you just put up these insane stats
and they
on the 10th
suck.
seed.
Yeah, and
You're
he's just
not
like a
getting.
third team.
So
Yeah,
Steph will
they're
have
not
to.
gonna get that.
I think they'll have to be 6 or higher.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I think. No, I love the Cavs. I think we all do. Like, it's crazy to think about the Cavs and the Hawks making similar moves, and one just going absolutely 100% perfect scenario, and the other one like train wreck, as of now, I guess. But
yeah,
I think if the Cavs play the Celts in a series, and they already played like that mini series early on, when the Cavs got the better of them, I think, or they split it. But I think they would play like a smaller lineup with less Jared Allen and more Mobley, kind of like playing the floating five because he'll run out and like he won't get beat by like that Coach Bud strategy to just like leave Grant Williams open. Like that wouldn't happen under Mobley's watch. I think that would be like a cool lineup switch. But again, like I don't know if they've really tested that out. There was a stretch where Jared Allen was out a few games and Mobley's like center usage was off the charts. And like he just played in the paint and he averaged like 5 more rebounds. But it's like an embarrassment of riches, really. So I think they'll just like kind
yeah.
of grow into their roles. But I think we all want to see Mobley become more of a reliable option. No one's asking for 20 points a game, but I think like 14 a little more efficiency. But I think
Yeah.
they're certainly capable of beating anyone in the East already.
Yeah, like the
I'll put
Cavs
up
are.
them.
You don't want to run into them in the playoffs. Let's just like leave it at that. They're scary for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good ending point on the Cavs. And like the last thing I guess I'll say is that take on D Mitch to first team that would be that I would consider that hot enough. And like Garland has missed a few games now. Like it's not like he's been injured per se, like really badly, but he's had like nagging injuries here and there. And then when he misses, like D Mitch basically just runs point guard for them and runs up his numbers. So like I could see that, Nem, but I don't know. I feel like as Garland gets healthy down the year, he'll probably fade out numbers wise and just won't get it for that. But yeah, I agree. I think we're all in on the Cavs for sure. But all right, next let's talk about the red hot Nets. I know I mentioned before, like I'm not really impressed with the strength of schedule, but 12 wins in a row is 12 wins in a row in the NBA. I mean, they deserve their props for that. And Kyrie and KD are like they look to be locked in, right? It's like that was really always is the biggest question with the Nets. Like, are they all in on ball? Because we know what they can do when they are. And it looks like they are right now, but how legit is this run? Are we right back into Nets are like right there for the finals? I think what we've said this far is yeah, but I don't know. Are we officially all the way there? Anyone can take the floor. Let's
All
get
right,
it. Is it a Nets
I'm
world?
not gonna, yeah, I like really quickly, I'm not gonna like trash the Nets because Billy's not here and he's not even gonna defend them. He can't defend them, but like, I'll just say like congrats to the Nets for finally playing like above average basketball with a top 7 player in the league and like a top 20 player and good talent around them. You know what I mean? Like wow, congrats. You finally got under the rug of like drama, trade requests, Kyrie, Steve Nash, like all, and you're finally playing like good basketball. Like,
For a
you know what I
month,
mean?
you
Like
know.
everyone thought this team was gonna be good and they were absolutely terrible. And now they had an easy set schedule. It was really soft. They won some games like, okay, like good for them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like, are they scary? Yeah, for sure. Like any team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving should be
Yeah.
scary. And like you could probably argue they probably have the best supporting cast around them now with like TJ Warren coming back and Seth Curry healthy and what's that guy's name? That the wannabe, their
Oh,
shooter.
Yuta
Yeah,
Watanabe.
Watanabe,
yeah, Watanabe. So like, yeah, they have good cast. They probably got to do something about Joe Harris, but yeah, like they're a threat and like congrats on playing above average basketball finally in January, late December. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just quickly
agree.
summed up the last 3 years, which is it's right. Like it's valid. But when you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving completely focused on basketball and playing together, it's crazy. They're actually like incredibly talented, putting up
Yeah.
60 a night. They have had the best offense in during this stretch, which is like I think that's what you kind of expected with these Nets. Even think about like
They're playing
the Harden.
defense now too.
Yeah,
Whatchamacallit? I don't know. I guess like Jock Vaughn got to them. They're actually playing like really good defense during that stretch too. They might be like first in the league during that stretch.
I mean, if they play like this in the like, they're straight up scary for any East team.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't know, Kyrie and KD. Like, we haven't really seen them right in the finals slash not the finals. You know, the
I haven't
ECF.
seen much of
slash-
them, at least on the Nets.
I
Like,
mean Kyrie
They
hasn't
haven't
played
made
like
it
a
past the second round since they formed that nucleus.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's easy, like you said, them to look at this win streak and be like, yeah, obviously they're this good. Can this,
Yeah.
stay on the
Kyrie's
same
playoff.
page the rest of the year?
Kyrie's playoffs recently. He has the sweep last year, the run against the Bucks. He had one run with the Celtics, and going all the way back to 2016. So of all those, like he hasn't made a real deep playoff run and like played throughout the entirety of the stretch in a very long time.
In 6 years. Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna have to be 100% focus on ball. I mean, I don't think they're taking many games off. I think they are scared. They're definitely one of the best teams. Am I taking them over the Celtics and the Cavs and the Bucks right now? Not exactly sure, but a team with Kevin Durant is. It just shows like when they're playing and they're focused on basketball. I don't think anyone's going to want to catch them, and they're putting up 125 every single night.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
they're scary for sure.
Nem said it like maybe we really got to say like look Steve Nash in the eye and be like, dude, did Steve Nash suck? Like, or maybe Jacques Vaughn is him. Like, honestly though, like,
But they weren't good
Nash
even when
really-
they fired Nash and Jock. Like they weren't good for those
Yeah.
like that month. Like they were like they just went on that run. They were like below 500 when we did the pod in the beginning, and then like throughout November and stuff. Like they weren't playing well.
it's
And
just like
they got hot. I don't know, dude. It's an 82 game season. Like these stretches and runs. Celtics were like 15-2 to start the year. You know what I mean? They like
Yeah.
you just go on these runs. You get some luck and some help from the schedule and stuff. And
You
I don't
get
know. I
Kyrie
think
back playing basketball.
like
I think that's huge.
this is
Like,
really
honestly,
like a prove it team, right? Like I need to see this team in the playoffs. Like I almost like don't care what they do right now. Like I need to see like this continued success throughout the rest of the season and like in the playoffs. You know what I mean? This is such like a prove it team to me because I've already seen like you know, the facade of this Nets team since they got all those guys together, you know.
So
Yeah.
I kind of want to segue this because I want to know if you guys feel the same way about the Sixers with what Nem just kind of said. Like you
I'm
have
higher
to
on
see
this.
them.
I think I'm higher on the Nets than the Sixers, to be honest with you.
Okay, word, yeah.
We-
It's like they're the same for me.
We've seen James Harden in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That is well documented.
And B
like,
going out in game
and
2 or
B,
something.
he's playing on like 1 foot. Like,
Yeah.
I think I trust the Nets way more than the Sixers, as like crazy as that sounds.
100%, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it sounds no, it legit
crazy.
sounds
Really,
crazy.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy.
I don't know,
but
Haddock, you think differently,
I
or
don't
kind
know.
of giving me a look?
No, I agree. I would probably lean with the Nets. I think one like
Sixers haven't gotten past the
sub-narrative.
second round either. They haven't gotten past the second
Yeah.
round since
The Six-
2001. So
Sixers
I
have their
don't-
own curse, Doc curse. Like they have a bunch of things. I think my sub narrative I'm gonna eye in on this year is just like the decrease from these guys that are like free throw dependent into the playoffs. Like it just totally changes. So I think like that would mainly affect like the Sixers probably the most, the Bucks to a certain degree, but you know not as
Giannis.
much. And then like in the West, like think about like the Mavs with Luka. You just don't get these calls as easily. Like going to the rim, it's like kind of like the Braun effect. Like I don't know, they just like bite their whistle, and you've seen it with Harden and you've seen it with Embiid so many times before, and like they're
Dude.
kind of winning. Like they'll outshoot the Knicks on the free throw line 40-20, and like you know they win by these margins, which is great for regular season basketball, but it's kind of harder to get into a comfortable offense and go into the playoffs when you're kind of relying on that. Not to call them merchants out here, but I would agree. I would agree with the probably Nets. Just like their offense seems just a little more comfortable. Although Harden's balling now. He's back to rocket mode. Point Harden. It got like a little awkward again. Not to spam that, but with Maxey last year because I think they tried to use Maxey as like the true one, and Harden come off some sets. But Harden is just so good when he's like a pure passer. He's just so creative, and he can like hit Embiid in these spots. So I don't know. Sixers they're gonna be a top 4 seed. They'll move up. They'll probably pass one of the two, Nets or Cavs, but we'll see.
I mean,
That 4-5 matchup is gonna be really good.
Man.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. They could even end up passing the Bucks. Like, I think we can use it into a segue into the Bucks if we want, but like, it's not been super impressive out of Milwaukee. Like recently, I don't
Yeah, I said
think
that.
I felt like they've been as good as they were, especially earlier in the year. So, all right, yeah. What's good with the Bucks then? I'll start it off with I do think this is like it's if not the last year that the Bucks have with this core and in finals contention, it's like second to last. I think I've mentioned that before on previous pods, but yeah, like I don't know. I do think it's clearly an aging roster. I mean, it's not getting any younger, that's for sure. So what do we think about the Bucks? Like, are they a lock for one of the top 2 seeds? Because it seems like after you said that, Tom, you would say, yeah. I'm not 100% sure of that, but what do we think roundtable wise?
I wouldn't call it a lock, I guess.
Yeah. What, like, one thing I'll say about Milwaukee, well, they've had some bad losses recently. I think they lost to like the Bulls and like the Wizards recently, and like Middleton isn't really 100% yet. Like he's in and out of the lineups. Like, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but like I feel like we know what this Bucks team is. I don't know. Like we've seen it like over and over again, I feel like, you know, like they won like 2 years ago, but I don't know, man. Like the Bucks to me need like to make a move. Like they should try and get like Kyle Kuzma or like Bogdanovich or something like to really help them out. Like take some of that load off Giannis because like Chris Middleton he's just not playing. Like you're missing out on like a 22 point per game scorer. Like so I don't know. I obviously you don't want to see Giannis in the playoffs and stuff like that. And I'm not saying they're not a contender, but yeah, I don't know. They haven't particularly like impressed me, I guess. And I guess they have higher standards, but I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, I haven't been like super impressed by them, to be honest.
Well, I'll say the
Yeah.
first, real quick, Tom. You can go after this, but I do think that the brand that the Bucks have always played has been like not too impressive. I mean, we've had our gripes about Budenholzer for sure, and I think they're warranted, but also like the personnel, like it's just kind of like a gritty, like Bobby Portis. I mean, Brooke
Yeah.
Lopez is like a 7-foot shooter.
It's not flashy.
It's
like
not
it's
flashy. It just kind of
yeah.
gets the job done when it matters. And I do think there's that idea that Giannis in a 7-game series, like him just leaning on you for like 7 games is tough no matter what. So I don't really necessarily need it to be super pretty, but I do think they need to get like a top 3 seed. I wouldn't want them to be the 4 seed, run into the Cavs or the Nets or the Sixers in the first round and get bounced. Like I definitely wouldn't be too like keen on picking them in that series, but I at the same time don't think they need to be ridiculously impressive going into the playoffs for me to be like, yeah, they'll probably go to the finals. Like I'll probably think that they will, like as long as they're top 3 and is 50 win team, like 48 win team, I'd be cool with that. But I don't know. You guys agree?
I think they definitely
Yeah.
will make a move. I don't know. That's my take. I
Feels
definitely
like they
think
need it, right?
Bogdanovich, dude. I feel like that'd be
Yeah.
a perfect fit,
Right?
honestly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're, you could just solidify them as the top 2 in the East. Because I do, like we've been talking about, like there's probably 4 or 5 teams that could realistically, it's like the MO this pot is, I feel like it's just a long season still. And it's tough to, look at the Nets 12 wins and say, all right, they're here. Because, like, again, we know the NBA
Yeah.
and stuff in that regard. So it's like,
Yeah.
the Bucks, they could finish 3-4. I mean, if stuff goes, kind of to shit, I could see them finishing 5th, maybe.
Yeah.
If they
So-
finished 5th and played on the road in a first round series against, let's just say, the
I'm
Nets, I
saying
would
heads
probably
get
pick
hurt.
the
I don't
Nets.
know. They
win.
don't make a move. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Giannis will kind of like just will them to like a good record. He cannot like basically just try like harder than some of these guys in regular season. I think they'll have that. I think they'll be like top 3 probably. I would lean. But yeah, I think Nem nailed it. Like this team is just kind of, it feels a little stale. Like they really haven't added anything. Like we said last year, like are we still trusting Grayson Allen in the spot? Like Javon Carter plays so many minutes.
dude,
And I don't know,
sucks.
like Javon Carter is actually been really good on D.
No, they got to kick
And
Grayson
I think
Allen out of the league.
they like him. Yeah, Grayson Allen, I just don't think like anyone's like overly confident. Same with like Connaughton when he's shooting threes. Like you're kind of like, all right, we could get a better guy like in that spot, like on a wide open offensive board by Giannis kicked out. I don't know. Like they lost like DiVincenzo, I think is so good, and they lost him. I always like think about that when he goes off in Oakland or in San Fran. But I don't know. They'll like will them way to a good record, but I think not like it's declining. Like their window. I think there's just the East is so competitive now. Last year was really like a 2-headed monster. But Giannis will them. He's gonna put up insane MVP numbers again. I think this year we'll have like the most like MVP cases. He'll be first team. I think most people would agree he's still the best player in the league. But yeah, I don't know. Like Brooke Lopez is like he means so much to this team at like 36 years old, 37. I don't know. You just get a little worried, but I think they can look to make a major move. I would not expect it during this year though. I think they're just gonna kind of go into the playoffs with this current group of guys, maybe a tiny move, but definitely not a star.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe part of the I think there's definitely a narrative with the Bucks where it's like this team as like fully constructed with like a healthy Middleton. I kind of feel like they haven't been dethroned because Giannis was like Middleton was obviously hurt against the Celtics. So I guess in my head, like they have like they're allowed to run this back. I'll say, you know what I mean? Like they weren't necessarily beaten. So I get that, and I think I agree. If they were to make a big move, it would be like after they lose this year in the playoffs, then they would be forced. Their hand would be forced to like, all right, let's move on from Grayson Allen. Let's like get a legit shooting guard, not like this asshole basically. But all right, I think that's good on the Bucks. I guess let's keep it green and go with the Celtics now. What's good with the Celtics? Obviously the hottest team in the league to start the year, but like Nem said, another group that faltered a little bit during a long 82 game season, literally the MO right now. But yeah, they did falter a little bit. Definitely came down to earth and like kind of saw how the Celtics I think could be beaten in the playoffs, but I don't think it's crazy to say they're still the best team in the NBA. Like I'm definitely willing to say
Yeah.
that. I don't know if you guys agree, but yeah, Dan, what's up?
Well, no, they're down 20 right now to the Thunder without Shy. So,
No way.
Wow.
Jeez.
so there's that. They have 10 turnovers at the half. So I feel like them, you
Damn.
could ring in how the C's get beat. It's just they have these games where
They beat themselves,
they
dude.
just beat the shit out of themselves. Like I didn't look at the like who has the turnovers, but like down 20 to the Thunder squad with no SGA.
Who's
That's
eating on the Thunder right now? Giddy? Like,
Isaiah Joe has 17.
17 at the
Wow.
half.
oh, in that case, bad.
Wow.
Like,
All right.
Isaiah
Okay.
Joe.
Oh
Are
man.
you?
Wow.
But I mean, no, like to keep like going off of that, it's like they just have these games where you're like, oh my God, like, Tatum looks, we've talked about this. It's like Tatum just almost loses the game for them, just the way he shoots and his games, they're just out of it after like the first half. You just know there's no like comeback in them. Guys are just missing. They seem kind of similar to last year, just really dependent on the three. If you have guys like Derek White and even Smart who aren't going to hit threes, you go down double digits quick. And I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Watching
Granted,
Tatum.
Yeah. I was going to
Watching
say,
Tatum, I
granted,
think
Tatum's really
he's-
good. Like,
he's like unbelievable, and I
Yeah.
think he could be the best player in the league in like a very short amount of time. I think we were definitely spoiled though with guys like Durant, Kobe, Bron, even like those superstars. They didn't have like bad games really. It was so rare. And Tatum, like he'll have his highs are untouchable, but then he'll go for a fourth quarter where he's 2 of 9 and can't get to the free throw line. So maybe it's just like I don't know, just like still superstar growing pains. But it just seems like that happens more often than you'd want out of your absolute superstar. But it seems like that might be common like everywhere, like whether it's D Mitch or Embiid from the different perspective there. But I don't know. I don't think anyone would be worried about that. This is definitely the best team, the best defensive team, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs.
The only thing I'll say, I don't think like it's you said it's not something to be worried about. Like if I am a Celtics fan, I'm definitely like in a 7-game series, like if Tatum doesn't show up for let's say 2 games, that's probably 2 losses. Like that worries me. That definitely worries me. Like and I guess my the leading question I'll have is like why is that from Tatum? Like why does he like go cold? Like what like I guess like what you're saying, Tom, is yeah, we've been spoiled and maybe that's it. But I don't know. I really do get this sense that it's like wow, like why? It almost makes no sense. Like why does he come out and there's certain games where he's just ice cold? And honestly, this is like the narrative that I've pushed before. I've definitely talked about it. Like I feel like when Tatum is off, it's like right to Brown, which is like kind of okay, but it's kind of like why? Like, shouldn't Tatum, you would think that you want there to be a singular guy that's always the best, but to me, Jaylen Brown comes out sometime and he's the best player, and like that could be good, but that could also be problematic at the end of the day. So I guess that's my only real concern with the Celtics is like they almost trade off who's the 1A game to game, and in a series that could be a little fishy. That's my only real concern. But yeah, I agree, they are the best team and like they do clearly have the best defense still. But yeah, I guess it's really just like that's my only concern. It's like for 2 games, if Tatum is cold, can the Celtics still win a series? I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It comes down to, Jaylen Brown. That really is it. Or somebody else on the squad just picking it up. Because
Yeah,
I
but I'm not
agree
convinced
still. I know,
anyone
I
else is
agree.
gonna pick it up.
And I agree
One of
with
those
you.
two.
100%. I agree with you. I don't even think Jaylen Tatum would be enough to beat a really good team in the playoffs. If Tatum, goes, I don't know, let's say he just scores like 20 points on like 20 shots or some 25 shots. I don't know how many he takes. It's like you're just putting yourself in a hole. Like, and you play the Bucks or the Cavs, like, I don't know. It gets
That's like a rare performance. That doesn't happen too often. Definitely, it might not happen once in the 7-game series. I don't know, maybe once
What, Tatum 20 points?
on 25 shots. That's like insane.
Yeah, maybe it's a
That's
a
horrendous.
morbid
That's-
example.
What was his numbers in that one finals game against the Warriors? Was it not similar to that? I thought it was, honestly. Like he was like
Pull
pull it up. I swear he was Tom. That might have been like might have
him.
been like
Game 7.
Nah. It was. I feel like it was game 5 or game 4 where he was just ice, dude. No, maybe it was game 6. Honestly, the closeout game. I don't know. I just don't think that was like that egregious from Dan. I honestly feel like he dropped like 20 mid-20s on like plus 20 shots.
He was 3 for 17. It looks like game 1, if I'm correct.
And
Yep.
they won.
Looks like he had 12 points and they won. So, whatever I said just goes to shit. So,
Nah, I mean,
literally,
I remember game 1 he was like on
3
his
for
distribution.
17.
Yeah, that's bad. No, that's bad. That's bad. I mean, that's bad. That's like a day that like I don't. I mean, yeah, Tom, you said it, but it's like I've never seen days like that in the playoffs, except for that one year, I guess, that LeBron was on the Heat and fucking lost to the Mavs. I mean, that was like the only time LeBron was like doing shit like that. But I don't know. I mean, it's not gonna. I agree that it's not gonna stop the Celtics from getting to like the ECF, but I think if they run into, let's say, the Bucks or the Cavs or the Nets in the ECF, and then they were to play. See, that's the thing. Once you get to the finals, I'm not even scared of any of those West teams. Like, I think the Celtics' real finals will be in the ECF because that'll probably be the second best team that they face. But I don't know. No, I mean, Celtics are gonna do fine. They'll be there at the end. But that's just my only like warn. Nem, you didn't get any words in, so the floor is yours. The C's, man. What's good? What's good?
Yeah. There's still obviously my finals pick in there. I think there are a lot of people's finals pick, and like you guys said, you think they're probably still the best team in the league. Tatum is probably like second in the MVP race right now. Yeah, I'm not really like overly concerned with like Tatum's sort of like playoff foibles and like those cold games. Like I was looking at his game log, like he hasn't dropped less than 20 points in a game in over a month. Like it was like December 1st. So like he's playing amazing this year, and Brown is probably having like JB is probably having his best season of his career to date. I think he might be like second team all NBA, like all said and done this year. Like seriously, he's been so good this year. And like when you like Scully, you were saying sometimes it feels a little like 1A, 1B-ish with Tatum and Brown. Like I really don't see that. Like if Tatum is kind of struggling, like and Brown picks it up, like I don't see that as 1A, 1B. I just see it as like the next star on the team picking up the slack where it's needed. And he does that better than any other two, I think, in the NBA, Jaylen Brown. Brogdon's been good. Smart's been good. Smart. He doesn't really give you much offensively anymore, but his assists are way up and his turnovers are way down, which is always good to see from your point guard. They got to get Rob Will back healthy and playing on like a consistent basis, which he hasn't been. But I feel like once he gets back, like this team is really going to come into full form. And I'm honestly not really concerned about the Celtics at all. Maybe like their bench. Like I don't know. I thought they were deeper in the beginning of the year with like Hauser and stuff. And now I'm like, Grant Will, like, oh man, I don't know what happened to Grant Will, but man, like I think he might be someone they move off of in the offseason, honestly. He gives you good defense, but like, dude, if he's not hitting that corner three, he's doing nothing for you at this point. It's really weird. Yeah, I wish there was more out of him, but we'll see. But I think this team's fine. I think they're a prohibited title favorite, to say the least. So yeah, not too worried about them.
Yeah. I mean, Grant will. I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't be too blown about losing him if I was you. Like,
Yeah,
he's giving
it's
me
just like,
straight
man.
PJ Tucker vibes these days. Like,
Yeah, dude, if your one job is to hit those corner threes, then you got to do it, dude. Like,
yeah.
I miss Pritchard a little bit. I think Derek White has like really solidified his role, and now Brogdon there too. So like when those two guys come in, or they'll switch off for Smart. Pritchard barely plays.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't know. I wonder if he'll like go to a team. I think he's already nearing like his extension window. So I wonder if they'll move him at the
yeah, I think they
deadline.
do. I think they do.
I think he could just be like a spark plug. I also kind of want to just see him on like, I don't know, maybe like the Spurs or Jazz and just like go off for
Get
like
some
30 because he
running.
could, yeah, he could totally do that. So I don't know. I just those fourth quarter threes or yeah, in game 7 when he said this is what I do, like that moment's so fire. So I wonder what they'll do with him. But he's definitely
Yeah.
he's an attractive piece.
Yeah, and like you said, Derek White settled into his role, and like he'll start and stuff too. Like when they want to go a little smaller, and they'll do like smart White, Tatum, Brown, and then Horford. But he's really just like a seventh man off the bench, like Brogdon's the sixth man. He'll play starter minutes in the playoffs. You know what I mean? He'll be out there when it matters most. So I Derek White's fine. As a 7-6 guy, he's fine. So I'm not too worried about like Derek White or anything like that. Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, like we're like kind of nitpicking even. I'd even say
Yeah,
like,
they're so good, and it's just like we're
We're-
nitpicking. It's fine.
yeah,
Like
it's fine. Like it's fine, but they're going to be good. We can all agree. And there are obviously some issues. Like this isn't the 63 win Warriors. Like sure, I mean, that's fine.
yeah.
All right, that's enough on the C's. I guess it could be Nick's tape time, Tom. So in that same breath, I don't think that there are. I don't know. The Knicks have their issues. They have their legitimate issues, right? That's clear. These are not edge case issues that the Knicks have. I think that their issues are like pretty blatant. One of them is still RJ's development. I love Jalen Brunson, and the fact that he was out and you saw how we looked like with Jalen Brunson out and Julius Randle having to bring up the ball. That's so telling of like Brunson's intrinsic value to this team. It's like actually insane. When he's playing, they're completely different, especially down the stretch. Like they look very lost, even when he's in there sometimes, but obviously it's better. But yeah, I mean, this Knicks team has been they had an 8-game winning streak right into like, what was it? Like a 4-game losing streak and a devastating 4-game losing streak per Luka. Shouts out. But regardless, I think that dude, this team is I'm afraid the main thing I'm afraid about with the Knicks right now is they're looking to lock themselves into like this purgatory territory a little bit. Like I don't think that they're any better than a 6 seed. I don't think they're any worse than like a 10 to 11. You know, I think they're probably headed for the play-in. And am I down for that? I guess. I mean, it's definitely a step up, so I'm not blown that they're getting better, but I think the ceiling is pretty clear and low. But yeah, I mean, Brunson's been great. RJ's development is like so hot and cold. One day I'm like, all right, he's like so close to getting there. His shot's looking good. And then the next day I'm like, all right, he has a boo-boo on his finger. Now he's out for a week. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And the roster is deep though. Like speaking of depth on the Celtics, the Knicks are legit like 9 deep. And that's not even like 9, you know, they throw in 2 guys late that aren't that good. Like they have 9 guys who can go out there and give you like 15. Like Grimes has been incredible. I honestly think that he could it's very, very, very plausible to me that in like 2 years we look at Grimes and we're like, wow, he was maybe the 3rd best player on that team, honestly. But he's been amazing. Quickly's like really starting to figure out his spots. Like I think he and Grimes together and even McBride are like slowly gonna push Derrick Rose out. Unfortunately, I love Rose, but he just does not play the level of defense that those guys play, and they can score. So yeah, I think that's definitely one thing. But all in all, I do. This is going to end up being a 500 team. They're probably going to have another like 3 or 4 strings of losses, then wins, and they'll be right at their over under, which you know is I guess how it's supposed to go. I don't know how you feel, Tom, but I definitely playing for this team. Maybe they win that playing game, and then they face like the Sixers, probably losing 6. That's where I see them at, truthfully.
This team, the fate of this team is to be the 6th seed and lose to the Cavs in the first round by D-Mitch going nuclear in the Garden. That's the fate of this team.
Right.
It's been they should be the 6th seed. They're better than the Pacers. They're better than the Heat, who are not good at all. They're better than the Hawks, who are dysfunctional. They're better than the Bulls and the Raptors, who should blow it up. That means they should literally be the 6th seed. Like they have to be a plan. If there's anything worse than that, we don't have to go over it. His team is loaded. They've moved down to a 9-man rotation. Derrick Rose is already out of the lineup, unfortunately. Evan Fournier is out of the lineup.
Fournier
Cam
too,
Reddish is
right?
out.
Yeah.
Oh, Fournier's
They
out.
so they're out of the lineup, and like love Rose. Maybe he can go to like I don't know, like
No,
There's
like
no
he's
hard
back
to
to
place.
contribute. It's hard for him to
He's back to
contribute at this
Chicago.
point.
Like he's been great, but he just doesn't fit right now. There's no room. There's just straight up no room.
It's tough. It's kind of like when you have like vets in the NFL and you don't keep them because they don't play like special teams. Like Rose doesn't add like those little things that you just want to get from like a young guy that's like can sprint down the floor and get like one bucket. So I don't know. It'll be tough. Love Rose obviously, and they're dealing with a little bit of injuries right now with Brunson and RJ out. So those guys have like kind of like Fournier was in. There was a possession against the Spur game the other night, which they lost by the way. Without Fournier or without Brunson, there was a possession. Julius brings it up, point Julius, and it just all these things trickle down. Grimes becomes completely guardable. They pass it like Julius holds it for like 14 seconds. They give it a quickly with like 8. He gets totally clamped up. Last second, like ball trickles to Fournier, and he like takes a 1-footed like chuck from like 34 feet. It was the worst possession I've ever seen. And Brunson does way more for this team than I could have ever imagined. And it's a problem when like a guy like a Brunson's stature walks in and is immediately the best player in the room. It makes you think like what could have happened with Mitch. They wouldn't be contenders like the Cavs, like how we're talking about the Cavs right now. But it'd be pretty cool to see someone go for 70 in the Garden, maybe. But yeah, I mean, Julius Randle will be third team.
It could
He should be.
happen.
He's
It might
playing-
just be the player will be on the other team, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see.
most likely.
Melo
Welcome
holds
for
it though.
70.
Melo for 62.
62.
Yeah. I don't know.
Um,
We were, all right, yeah, keep going, Havoc.
I mean, no, I'll repeat what Scully said a lot. Mitch has been playing well. Julius Randle will be third team. I think Brunson should be an all-star probably, like over guys like Trey,
Oh, yeah.
DeJounte, or like,
Yeah.
you know,
DeJounte.
Drew Holiday. Like Harden, I'd probably go Halliburton, Harden, Mitch, Garland as like 4 guards. So I don't know how many there are.
Probably, but
He-
Garland's been hurt too.
Yeah,
so
I
don't
think
know.
Brunson is over Garland right now. I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd say so,
He's
too.
been
Also, Drew's been hurt, so he's probably not going to get it either.
It's a legitimate case.
So
I mean,
Yeah,
I
Brunson's
don't know.
got to
Well-
be there.
we'll see. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, the Knicks, I like that they've established a strong like rotation. They're literally
rotation
like
is
it
finally
sounds so
now, yeah.
far, but they're a star away. Like if you just like insert KD somehow without giving up assets, the team. So like that's it. But like stars want to play. in New
Katie
York,
for
so,
a
like,
second.
you can hang on to that. Now I don't know. I think I forget what the last thing I was going to say, but yeah, I mean we're here. Let's go. Knicks, if they can get that 6 seed, that'll be fire, and they'll lose in the third in 5.
Yeah, I mean
The
that would
third
be
seed
that
is
would be a win for. I would be cool with that. I would be. I mean, honestly, one thing I guess I like Mitch Robinson has actually played really well this year. Like quietly, like 15 and 10 a night now, and he hasn't been getting hurt and been staying out of foul trouble. He's been really good. So I'll give that to. And it's the same sort of deal. Like they play hard every night with Thibodeau at coach, so they will probably be in the contention for that 6 seed. But
he was really like 2 games away from getting fired. Like they were in a terrible place.
no, he was.
And the rotation was such a mess, and they ripped off as soon as Obi got hurt. They rip off an 8-game win streak. Tom Thibodeau is revered once again. So I don't know. Like you said, they'll kind of be in this purgatory, but I'd rather that than in the past like 5 years they were terrible and they're not getting lucky in the draft. Like
They're
They
too
just-
good to tank. They're too good.
yeah, they're too good to tank. I think them and the Pacers, and I would probably say the Heat and Hawks. They're too good to tank. So one of those 3 will get the 6 seed. The other 2 probably the 7-8, and they'll play like a feisty Magic or like I don't know, maybe the Bulls like stick together. I don't know. We can move on to them, but
Wizards.
that's the fate of this team. If they win a playoff game, like they've established a good floor, and like you said, like we'll go from there.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down. We can leave it at that.
We're happy. Like as a Knicks fan, if you told us we'd be 20 and 18, I think we'd be like, cool. Like
Yeah, I agree. It's just like it's funny how like the season plays out and like the highs and lows of it. But yeah, if you told me at this moment, like nothing else attached to it, like that they have near a 500 record or above, I'd be like, all right, yeah, that's what I would have expected, to be honest. But I do.
Dude, I'm still I just want your guys. Well, first off, like I don't know. I was high on the Knicks before the season. I think they've kind of performed as expected. And newsflash to the Dallas Mavericks, like Jalen Brunson is good at basketball, and you probably should have done everything to keep him. But yeah, dude, even Julius Randle's been better than last year. Like he looks way more like he does when he was on the second team All NBA 2 years ago than he does last year. In terms of this year, like
No,
yeah,
it's-
he makes
he's
like
just having-
boneheaded plays.
He's
Like
been playing extremely
his
well.
numbers are stupid in some of these games. Like he is playing well, and I know he's not like the smartest like basketball player in terms of IQ, but he's definitely been he's been really good for you guys. One thing I wanted to say though, and I literally just read something today. You guys are like totally out on Levine to New
Yeah.
York.
So,
Yeah.
Nah, Levine-
so out.
Like
Levine-
what if it's like one of those millions of picks you have in like IQ and like you know what I mean?
Nah,
Like
I
top
said
I'd
it
end.
to
love
Tom.
to
I
see
said it to
Levine.
Tom, dude. The
No,
picks.
that's the
Dan, I'm
contract.
so down. Get
I'd
some
love to
dunks
see
in the
Levine
garden,
in New
dude.
York.
Nah.
Oh man,
Nah,
That
not
there,
now.
there's a group of contracts that like
I
you
could
just,
see him dropping
Could
I
it
six
make
don't
you
wanna take
worse?
on.
Does it make you worse?
No, it doesn't make us worse, but there's just
So?
like the Knicks.
why do you
the
want
Knicks are
those
not.
picks so bad then?
No, it's not the
like you guys
picks.
said, they're all like mid
That's like-
like 10 to 15.
Who do they want
range.
then? Who would they want from the Knicks?
That would be
I-
like getting no. They didn't get Mitch. You have to get someone Mitch or better. Like that's the standard. Like Zach LaVine or like Bradley Beal. Like these guys are gonna come in and drop like, okay, cool. Here's a 44-point game. Like we lost by like 15. Like I don't want to reset everything. Kind of like that'd be like an insanely worse version of the Melo deal. And Melo was amazing, but I don't know. I'm not down. Like the Knicks are not trapped right now. That's just one. It's like a nice feeling to have. And they really haven't made any glaring mistakes. The Julius Randle extension is like, okay, like maybe it's a little overpaid. I'm glad he's playing this well again. Like I'm glad they didn't move on from him. But Brunson is straight up just a value contract. RJ, we could whatever, but they're not locked into like a Gobert 45 mil for 5-year deal. Like that's not what we need right now. Zach LaVine's not moving the needle unless
I'm
the
on
Bulls pay
Levine
half his
to New York
contract.
train, Dan.
So am I. I
I'm
really
on it,
think
Dan.
you guys are sleeping on.
Yeah.
Levine would actually be a perfect.
Levine's got like
guard
what?
for-
Oh, he actually just did sign that big extension, right?
Yeah,
Last year or
no,
a couple
yeah,
years
he's-
ago.
I think it was last year.
I don't think that like we just like you just
I'm
mentioned.
down. He's tradable. I think he's
he'd
tradable.
move the needle. Definitely.
I really don't
Yeah.
though. Not enough to get me out of bed. Like
So
I-
basically, like, do you guys think you're in a position where if you do make a move like that, it would kind of leapfrog you into like contention or maybe like a 4 seed? Or are you just guys like, I like the team as it is. We're not contenders. We're not tanking. We're just, going along.
Coasting.
I mean, I think
you guys are
we're
kind
kinda-
of like complacent.
We're kind of like the
almost.
Raptors before Kawhi. Like there's just like good culture. They win games. They play hard. They have a good defense. And I'm like, all right, do you want to make the one move? And if the one move is signing, like getting Levine in the middle of this extension, when we don't even know if that's going to work out, like that's just not the move I would go all in for. The move it was D Mitch, like 25 years old, like money due, like he's an elite scorer. And they didn't pull the trigger. They didn't think they were ready. So I don't think I trust the front office to not make a move, especially right now in the middle of this season, maybe in the off season. But I don't think the Knicks and Zach LaVine, 1 is going to happen. 2 would work out.
I don't
Right,
know.
okay.
I mean, it might be. It really could be, Nem, like just the bad taste in our mouths or in my mouth, like from previous iterations of this from the Knicks, where they just like go all in at the star and they like trade the entire like the house, and then they end up maybe getting as far as the ECF at best, or like even worse. Like I mean, we look back at the Melo deal. The best that they got was to Game 6 against the Pacers in not even the ECF. It was the series before that, I think. So it's like, I don't want to go through. It's almost like hopping into a relationship, dude. It's like I don't want to like go through all that with Levine and then for them still not to do much of anything. Like I'd rather them just try something new. In terms of the Knicks, try something new. Let's just wait out this like you said, Tom. We're not like tethered to anyone really. Like no contract on this whole roster is like a bad contract. Julius's is the closest thing, and it's in 3 years, it's literally going to be like a quarter. It's going to be so far from like what the max is at that point.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's not
not
that
a
bad of a
behemoth.
contract. So why just let's just like see what happens. Like let's see how like free agency plays out over the next 2 years, and then maybe we get somebody without having to give up anyone. And like that's just how it goes that way. I'd rather that personally. So that's my thought process. Like unless we literally get Levine for like 3 draft picks and that's it. Like we don't give up a player. I mean, at that point, you have like it's almost like I said this to Tom. I deadass did say this to you, Tom. Like, if our hands are tied, like it's like if it's literally like if our hands are tied, I'll take Levine. I'm not gonna not take the guy for like fucking chips, but I don't. I also don't want him by any means. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to get Levine. No way. I'm just not.
He makes too much money to just like throw draft. You know what I mean? He makes like 38 million a year. You'd have to.
The Bulls would move other pieces, I think, than like keep Levine. But like I don't know, just to compare to one guy, like take Levine during this contract, like Jaylen Brown is going to be due some money. I would much rather see a guy of like his stature and extend someone like that for $30 million a year or whatever than like a guy like Levine. And I put like them into the same like group, but like Beal, Levine, like even like the Gobert contract. Those are like superstar contracts, and they're not necessarily superstars. I would go down a level. So I don't know. I just don't think he's the right guy, and I also don't think the Bulls would move from him. I think if they do blow it up, which I think is just smoke.
Blow it up Bulls, dude.
I think we should.
Let's
go.
segue.
Like
real quick.
We know where we are.
Okay, Levine to New York is a no. Okay, we got it.
let's segue. No, let's segue into the Bulls now. Now we're here for the Bulls, the blow it up Bulls. Like we're talking enough about Levine. What is like we've mentioned blowing it up. I don't know if that's smoke. What's good with the Bulls? Do we have any hope out of Chicago? No, I would say no, but what do we think?
No, I think
not after that performance last night too.
Yeah, dude. Their most movable pieces are DeRozan, Vucevic, who's a free agent at the end of this year, and Caruso. Because number one, every team wants Caruso. Vuce is a free agent, and you're not gonna re-sign Vuce, probably not. And DeRozan's getting up there in age, and I think he could like be serviceable on a good team. Like the problem with the Bulls is someone on that team, someone in that organization, like thinks they're better than they are, and they should be better than they are with like the roster they have, right? But they're just not. Like even last year, like I think their over under was like 41, and they got like 44 wins. They're still like a slightly above average team, and now this year they're terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I like you're stuck with Levine, but I think like Vooch, DeRozan, Caruso, and Lonzo, it's like, dude, he can't even walk. Like,
I
man,
know,
you
dude.
gotta,
I think that
you
was
gotta
that
blow
was
that up. You gotta blow that up.
Yeah. Not having Lonzo, just they need a really good point guard just to hold that team
to
down.
Set Levine and
it.
DeRozan up. Yeah, like
they don't have that.
Why wouldn't they blow it up? Like why?
I don't know. The Lonzo situation is so bad.
I don't think they have a draft pick this year.
No, for Vooch.
Yeah. So the Magic have it. Yeah.
I guess it's either.
Is it
might be a swap,
or is it a?
It might be. It might be.
No, I don't think they have a pick, dude. Because if it was a swap,
no, but if it's a pick or a swap, if they tank for like the one pick, then the Magic would get it. I think. Yeah,
But the Magic suck too. So yeah, I don't think it's a swap because the Magic suck too. So like, you get a good pick either way.
Well, if they were to say if they enter the lottery, get the one, then the Magic would swap.
Yeah,
they could be the 3.
They would both suck. So I mean, it doesn't really. I don't think they have it, which is probably why they're reluctant to maybe do it.
I know it's top 4 projected, so there's
the Bulls have a top what?
Yeah.
Oh, the Magic.
Yeah, so if the Bulls tank and somehow get in the top 4, they would keep it.
Okay. Word.
Wow.
For the Vooch trade, and if it's not conveyed this year, then it's 2024.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think on the Bulls, I think last year I kind of like, not that I like went back on my take, but I was like, all right, maybe I was wrong. I said, after this DeMar trade and the Vooch trade, I was like, it kind of feels like a bunch of guys, and it still feels that way. I also think that might be DeMar a little bit. DeMar just kind of like goes in and does his own thing in the offense. Doesn't necessarily like space with like good 3-point shooting. He's kind of just like an ISO guy. I think that works the best off the bench, but that's whatever. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna blow it up. I think Nem nailed it. Like there's someone in the organization, whether it's protecting their job security or they don't have time to like rebuild, or like Billy Donovan's gonna leave, like whatever it is, they're gonna go at it this year, and like they're just gonna keep this team together. They're not gonna make any moves, I would guess. The only thing I would see is like Vooch at the deadline for like scraps, because he'll be a free agent, and I do not think they'll resign him. But yeah, this team is just gonna try and go for it. And if they beat the Knicks, I'd be extremely pissed. But they'll be like a play-in team, and like they'll be like whatever exciting. I want Io to take a step. I do like watching him try to fill the shoes of Lonzo. But yeah, the Lonzo thing, it really trickled down all the way. That's a terrible situation. You think about like the Celts trying to make moves for that deal. Like, and it was an attractive deal, like 4 for 80 or whatever. Like, I think he would fit nicely on the Celts, but we haven't seen him play since the Pelicans. And even on the Pelicans, he was like on and off. And I think he's just got like serious issues with his knee. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They're going to keep it together. They're not blowing it up. Calling
I
it.
mean, it's like legit. Well, just off the Lonzo thing, like I mean, I wouldn't say he's like on the verge of retiring, but it's like not completely out of the realm. Like I think he's like fucked, legit. And I mean, yeah, back on the Pelicans, but remember, like Lonzo healthy on the Bulls last year, they were like the 1 seed, legitimately like the 1 seed for I think like a month, dude, of the season last year. Like that trickle down effect is like so real. I think Lonzo was perfect for them, and I actually think availability is the best ability, but he's underrated when he plays because he really does make everyone better, but he doesn't play. So yeah, the Bulls are probably fucked. They'll run it. They will literally run this team into the ground. I can agree with that. But
DeMar is their last thing. DeMar is literally their fourth quarter scorer. Like, how would you want to trade for Levine when he's not the option? Like, DeMar closes, and he does it again and again. Like, he did it versus the Knicks. He went, barely head to head with Mitch last night. Like, he's the guy taking these fourth quarter buckets. He's the best scorer on the team. So I don't know. I think that's just another reason for Zach LaVine. Like, I don't know. Yeah, he can pull up from 38.
So I'm saying I said it before. I think I forgot the exact trade I said, but I thought the Lakers should try and go all in for DeRozan. Like he's going to be expiring after next year. So if you're the Lakers, it's like, all right, like we'll pay him 1 more year and screw
the Lakers
it.
have the Lakers' only asset is 2027 though. So like if they don't want to give up a 20, I don't know if DeMar is the answer. Like besides that, they could trade like.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the Lakers' sort of needs right now, but
we don't have to do one more hypothetical.
But if you're the Bulls, like DeRozan's going to leave after next year anyway. He's a pretty big asset on the trade market. I feel like I would field some offers.
That'll be a big asset,
but they don't think they're going to lose, so they want to keep him. It's like
it's facetious. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to see them just blow it up.
They're not gonna. I don't know. As much as I want them to.
All right, as much as we want them to, yeah, they probably won't. But I'm down to use this as a segue into maybe another team that we think might blow it up, but I think they're a little bit better. The Raptors. Pascal Siakam. We've talked about Julius Randle quietly having a great year again. Siakam is like having an unreal season, like almost to a point where I think that the narrative around Siakam is like that he could never be a 1A. Like he's got to be your really, really good second option. And I still think that's true, but he's like trying to prove that wrong. But yeah, the Raptors, like I definitely think Scotty Barnes has taken not a step forward. So in that breath, like a step back. He hasn't gotten any better. They definitely tried to run like this, everyone's 6'8", like let's just play D and we'll just switch everything. And it looked interesting for a bit, similar to like the Rockets micro ball. It sort of just like was a shockwave to the league. But now it's like, dude, what are they really doing? Like it's not really working anymore. And now it just kind of looks like they have 5 bodies. They all play the same position and they're all like not that good. So yeah, what's up with the Raptors? Like, is this another blow up scenario, or are they going to run this team?
What do you think, Dan?
I can never get a gauge on the Raptors, man, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're gonna just like kick it into gear and like knock off 10 straight wins. Because that's what I think.
It's
Oh,
the
we're gonna-
Raptors, like they're just supposed to do that.
No, it's because I swear, like they always figure out a way to kind of, I don't know. It's tough for me to just think blow it up. Because, like you said, Siakam is like unreal this year.
Yeah.
Like, shouts out MSG, dude. 50 at the Garden, just
Dude.
in
He's-
case, like heads forgot. Like he's so good.
Scotty took a step back, and OG Anunoby like took a huge step up. Like if they
Yeah.
wanted to blow
Oh.
it up, I think they're getting the most calls probably about OG.
OG.
Yeah, and like, man, I don't know. Do you think the Raptors are like, nah, we're not blowing it up, and we're actually gonna make a move for like somebody big?
I
Because their
would-
GM is like capable of what's his name? What's that guy's
Masai
name?
Ujiri?
Yeah, Ujiri.
Yeah.
It's like you got Kawhi that one year. Like, I don't know, maybe he's like, man, everyone's saying we should blow it up. Like, I'm gonna go get a DeRozan or a Levine, or you know what I mean? Like, you think
That
they're
would
more
be
likely to
cool.
blow it up or more likely to like trade for somebody really good?
Like you
I'd
said,
like to
that'd
think
be
the
cool.
latter.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Maybe not. Maybe like a mini. Like maybe move on from like one guy and like focus on Scotty and Siakam. But if they traded Siakam or OG, that would be a haul. And I don't know. I think that would be like Siakam would be like 3 first rounders probably. OG would be
Oh,
probably
yeah.
like 1 or 2 with a player. Now I will say the Van Vliet has been like really terrible this year. I think
Yeah.
that's one of their issues.
I also
I don't
said
know
the
if they-
Lakers should try and get Van Fleet too. I just feel like
I was about to
he's-
say, is like
I mean,
he
he
movable?
could go like, yeah, I don't know what his contract looks like exactly, but he's like the worst 3-point shooter of guards, the worst field goal percent like of guards. Like he's been really bad. So yeah, Siakam's kind of running like almost like point Siakam.
I-
love using that.
I think
I'd love. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Van Fleet is probably the most disposable Raptor, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it
if they were to
seems like
trade
he's the
someone
one that's
Van
kind of
Fleet,
like.
because yeah,
yeah.
because Scotty's still so raw. You're not gonna trade a guy in his second year, just one rookie of the year. OG is like, it seems like you want to keep him to me, and then Siakam is like, man, he's so good. If you traded him, then you're really blowing it up. So I feel like Van Fleet is the move, but that's not like a blow it up tank trade. They would still,
If anything, they
This-
might get better. I don't know.
dude.
What is
depends if they
Van
get-
Vliet yielding in the trade market? Like what?
No, like a
I'm
late
saying the
first.
trying
Lakers,
to-
the
I know.
Lakers
Maybe.
should
I'm
try and
trying to
get him.
think of like who would.
The Lakers
maybe the
would.
Lakers. I feel like some like random.
The Lakers
ass
aren't giving up a
Mavs?
2027 first round pick.
Maybe
Mavs.
the Mavs.
You
I
would
don't
literally
know.
be Jalen Brunson 2.0 on the map.
Dude. If I'm a team like a Dallas or something like that, like middle of the pack, like we could be good if we made a move.
Suns.
Why aren't you calling Toronto about Van Fleet? I don't know.
Oh
Maybe
yeah, the
just needs to
Suns
change
need
scenery.
The Suns legit need
Suns?
him now.
I can't watch campaign in a playoff series. We don't have to get.
No.
I don't even
Or
want to mention
Shamet,
the
dude.
Suns again.
Landry Shamet, dude, don't give me.
Should we give the
40
quick,
minutes
like fuck the Suns
of
segment right
Shannon?
here? Fuck the Suns, dude. They're
No, we can
Just
I
get it
think
in
we'll just
quick.
use-
No, just quick. I'm not down for Suns talk. I'm so
No.
done with them.
Yeah,
We'll
get it
I'm
later.
with them too.
Next
I'm
week.
over
Next
them.
week. Next week. I mean, you mentioned Scotty Barnes. Like, I totally forgot he was the rookie of the year. Like, this class from last year is
Ice last year,
wild.
dude. Ice
Scotty
was-
Barnes was kind of just like,
vibes, like bro, for real. Scotty Barnes.
no, I wouldn't say that,
It's
but
too early.
That
this
was
class,
disrespectful.
this,
That was
it's
disrespectful.
this
too
class slash the last draft class was Cade, who has like a serious surgery. I don't think that's like a shin problem. That's like hardware.
Jalen
And
Green's
then we got
Green's
Jalen Green. I'm
Just
not
a
in love
bucket.
with
Bucket.
bucket now.
bucket. The Rockets team is
Bucket.
the Rockets team is I
Bucket,
don't know.
he takes like
Shangoon
30
Shangoon
shots
is
a
the
night.
best. Yeah, I don't know. Shangoon is like the player I like the most on that team. From like,
Oh,
can he
shouts out
turn
Shangoon,
can he turn
dude.
into like a real? I don't know. KPJ
100%.
and Jalen Green just feel like it's just usage, whatever. Scotty, no, who was 3? Mobley was 3, and we just talked about like it's still generational, but could take another step
Scotty.
offensively. Scotty and then Suggs. Like I don't. It's
Oof.
it was very over. Like it was very hyped up last year, and it's slightly disappointing, I would say. Second
Yeah,
season.
my guy Franz
see.
though, dude. Don't sleep.
Franz.
Franz.
Bronze. Those the Magic are gonna leapfrog all these
Oh,
mid
that-
East teams
They're a fun
in the span of
squad.
1 to 2 years. Yeah, like they're gonna blow right past the Knicks, Pacers, Heat, Bulls in the span of 2 years.
So no, Raptors blow it up. No,
I'm not down.
I think they'll make a move, but they might. They're gonna probably end up tanking. I don't know. I think they're just smarter. Maybe they shut down Siakam, move Van Vliet, maybe move OG. OG could get like first, maybe 2 firsts.
yeah, I don't think.
But I
they're
think they
gonna
have to
do
keep
it.
Siakam, and I think we said they have to keep Scotty Barnes. So
I almost
Word.
think it's like circumstantially they almost can't blow it up in the sense that we're thinking, because it's like you said, Nam, either they give up Siakam and that's like the blow up scenario, or they give up OG or Van Vliet, and I'm not really thinking of that as like a blow up. You know what I mean? Like they're
Nah,
not,
yeah, I don't
Do
really
you
know
think
what that
they
does for
trade
them.
2?
If-
Like out of the 3?
like if they were
Yeah.
to trade Van Vliet and OG,
OG.
I guess together, then you're blowing it up at that point. But even that, like, what are you getting? Like, are you just getting a haul of picks? Like, I guess.
if you're a playoff team, and I don't know if you were trying to maybe trade for Siakam, or if you were looking at it, is there like a version of Siakam that's better than this right now for like a playoff team? Probably
can't
not. Like he's
imagine.
probably in one of the best situations right now. Like I don't know if he can go to like I don't know, like the Nuggets or something.
I think Siakam is.
Well, hold
in-
on. If Siakam on the Nuggets, dude, that's
Yeah,
like a
no
finals
way.
team. Actually,
I think
We're gonna be
Siakam is
real
one of
about
those
that.
players where I don't know. I think
Oh,
a
he looked
contending
good on the
team
Nuggets.
couldn't trade.
We're
for him. I
watching the
think
best
values
the best version. Yeah. They won't move. If anything, Van Vliet and OG, and they'll maybe sneak like. The thing is, like they're well coached. Like I fully expect them to be in the plan either way. Like whether they move guys or not, I don't know. They got Otto Porter loading, so
All right. On that note, let's. I think the last team, I guess, that's like interesting to talk about out of the East. We'll try to roundtable it after. Is the Pacers? I guess. I mentioned them real quick before. Me and Dan have been high on them for a bit now, and yeah, like real quick on them. Their offense is electric. Halliburton to me is the MIP. They have some interesting young pieces like Mathurin. They're like similar to Nem's Trailblazers. For me, they've kind of just been fun. Like they're just like a fun watch. They score a bunch, don't play a ton of D, play a lot of close games, and they have some interesting players. So I like what I see from the Pacers, like eye test wise. But if you actually get down to it, they are still probably a playing team at best. But I do think they could give I would love like Nets Pacers first round would be such a lit series. Every game is just like 120 to 130. Like Halliburton's got like 20 assists, Kyrie's got like 40 points. Like that would be cool to watch. So I would love that, but I'm not gonna act like they'd win that series. But I do think they're an interesting team. And I would honestly, as a Knicks fan, argue that in that range, Tom, that you mentioned of like 4 or 5 middling East teams, that they are the best one out of that group. I don't know if you like vehemently disagree, but that's where I stand on it. But yeah, what's good?
yeah. No, they're good. They're so fun. The Sabonis trade that's like the win-win trade of the NBA. Probably teams moved in the direction they needed. They actually like for fit, it all worked out. Like that trade is pretty crazy. Sabonis is like really young. Halliburton is going to be an all-star for the next 10 years. Like his game it's so smooth.
Wannabe
Like,
all-star, dude, according to Wally, bro.
yeah, Wally had no room.
That
Not
was
sure
He
why.
put up like 40 and 10 in Wally's mitt like the next day.
Wannabe all-star.
No,
Yeah. Mathurin might win 6-man, dude. That'd be crazy.
That'd be
as a
crazy.
rookie.
A rookie to win that? Has that
Yeah.
ever happened?
Dude,
I don't know.
because even Tyler Hero didn't win it until last year.
Well, Magic
I don't
Johnson won
know.
Finals MVP, so he probably could have been the sixth
Yeah.
man. But
Yeah.
nah, I don't think.
Shout
I
out
don't
Rick
know.
Carlisle, dude.
Yeah.
This
Wow,
ragtag
dude,
group,
shout
and they're like 20 and 17. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're
even-
rotating like 4 centers a night. Like,
Yeah. Well,
I
if
mean,
you count Miles Turner as a center because he plays shooting guard, I swear to God on that
yeah,
team sometimes. But
they have him.
Did you
Jalen
guys see
Suggs.
Sticks?
Sticks, dude? Yeah, your
Did
guy.
you see the the Buddy Hield 3 the other night? I think it's like the fastest anyone's ever scored
Yeah,
in the NBA.
I did
Yeah,
see
I
that.
did
That was
see
crazy.
that.
That was a wild play. That was awesome.
Talk about a microwave, dude. Buddy is just. I love his shot. I feel like, yeah.
Every like volume
No.
3-point stat you see on Stat
No,
News is
that-
like the only players to do this are Steph, Clay, and Buddy Hield. Like it's
Yeah.
all he's
No,
always
dude,
just up there with
that
the
Aaron Neesmith dunk the other night, bro.
Oh my god.
Oh, bro.
Dude, he detonated.
That was such a
Dude,
recognition.
He
I was
elevated.
laughing so hard at that because on Boston, literally all he did was sit in the corner with his hands at his side.
I don't
dude.
know if
didn't
I've
even
ever
know he
seen
had
him
hops
dunk.
like that.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I
didn't
don't
even
think.
know he-
Do we want to allow for a redo of our finals picks? I guess.
Well, I think-
I felt like this was
here's what
like
we
the
can do.
mid-season redo, the mid-season redo. So I validated it in my head that way. But
So I think here's what we do. We just went to the East a lot, so we could all just pick like maybe our favorite team from the West that we think might, that looks the best right now. Or I know you guys like the Nuggets, Grizzlies. I would personally, if I were to start this off, I would look at the Pels. I think we just got word though that Zion's going to be out a couple weeks, so that was pending, and I'm not like that worried honestly. He was taking over. Like before he went out in that Sixer game, they were, within striking range, and he was going for like 26, 6, 6. He's a grown man out there, and like
That game
just
against the
will-
Wolves, he just
Yeah,
he had
he'll
like 48
barrel.
or something.
43 career high. He's legit, but I think the reason I trust this team though is I think they've already like established where they'll end up in the ranking or in the seedings. I think they'll be top 6 for sure. But this team is so deep. Like it's anyone on any given night, whether it's CJ McCollum just becoming a microwave, or Zion getting it done, or Brandon Ingram, or a combination of like Alvarado and Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. Like all these guys, they'll have 6 guys on the roster in double digits every night. It's a great defensive team. I think they're well coached. And I think they're playing with house money, really. Like they're already exceeding expectations. They look cohesive. And I actually think if Zion is fully healthy for the playoffs, which is their number one priority, I think this team is a serious threat to win the West, how they're playing right now.
I like it.
all right,
Yeah.
Tom. That's a vibe. I just to make the finals, or is that really what we're talking about right now? Like just to be clear,
Out of the
like,
West.
the
No, I mean,
Pelicans-
I'm not. I won't go back on my original prediction was Celtics Mavs. So I'll see
that's
where we
still
are at the end of the
valid.
season.
That's still valid, yeah.
Yeah, I'll see where we are at the end of the year. I think I'm definitely from where I was when I had the Mavs. I'm a little nervous. I think they're so Luka dependent, and like you see in the playoffs, like these guys don't get all the calls typically, or like we mentioned, like if Luka has one off game, like they could get blown out by 30. Luka literally, destroyed 2 of those teams, the Jazz and the Suns, by himself last year. So maybe he makes a miracle run. If you were to bet on one guy to make a miracle run out of Jokic and Luka, that's like an interesting take itself. They're still out here. We can revisit them. Missing Brunson is bad for the Mavs though, so we'll see.
Yeah. All right. My pick was Bucks Clippers, as I mentioned earlier before we started. And honestly, from like an integrity perspective, I just kind of want to stick with it because like the West is so wide open, and it's not like the Clippers can't easily make a run. I mean, if you still like if I look at the West, right, and I'm like, do I think the Grizzlies can make a run? I mean, it's just hard to see them make a run to the finals. Like same like you just said about the Pelicans. Love the Pelicans. Do I think they can make a run to the finals? I don't know, dude. I'd probably lean, if I had to pick a team right now, I probably would pick the Nugs, honestly. Like I think we've seen fuck. It's really hard to say like Jokic, like in that debate, Tom, Jokic over Doncic. I don't know. I honestly am I don't want to like get too into like being tired of the Luka narrative and saying like I think Jokic could do that just because it's like his time and not Luka, we've seen it already. But I think I would lean towards that, I think maybe it's the Nuggets. It's finally like the Nuggets opportunity to like knife their way through the West. with Murray like hitting the clutch shots for them and Jokic just triple doubling it up throughout the playoffs. And yeah, maybe they can slide in. So I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with Bucks Clippers as my integrity pick, but very, very high on the Nugs. And if I had to pick another, I'd go Bucks Nugs right now for sure.
Yeah, Scully, I agree with a lot of that. My pick was Celtics Clippers, and I'm gonna stick with that right now. But yeah, we're definitely high in the Nugs, and I think what you said is true. I think the West is set up in a way where um if Jokic is gonna have that sort of like magical run through the playoffs where he cements himself as like an I'm here moment, like a Giannis
Yes.
moment, and like something like that, like it's this year. And that could very well happen. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe in April I'll switch to the Nuggets, but I'm gonna stick with Celtics Clippers right now for my pick.
Yeah, I'm
Finals.
sticking with the Nugs. I think
What
they're
did you have,
Yeah,
Dan?
who,
What did you
yeah,
have?
you had Nugs
Damn, I had the
Buckets?
Nugs.
Nugs Buckets?
yeah, the
Legend.
Nugs.
Wow.
Bucks Nugs.
Wow.
Wow.
Waited for the Nuggets flowers before dropping
Oh
that
man,
too.
Tom.
Let's go,
Took a
dude.
page out of
That's
your
good.
playbook, Tom.
Let's
Nice,
go,
was-
dude.
nice.
That was easy money. Yeah,
All-time
Good
hand.
stuff.
No, yeah, look, MPJ is healthy right now, so I mean like look, Gordon I think is actually playing good ball right now. Like
Playing so
finally.
well right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, right now it looks good for the Nuggets. So I mean, I have no qualms about that pick right now. Like really.
I
But it
think
is there's a lot of other teams like to be fair like you know. So
Jokic plays the most unique ball I think we may have ever seen. Like you can point to any like star and like kind of like say, oh, they're like a little bit of a
Oh,
version
yeah.
of this or whatever you want to do. There's no comparison. Like it is the most random. He'll take these one-footed like leading into the guy from like the top of the key or like the baseline pass from the post. Like he'll just do things that no one has ever done before. It's truly remarkable.
Nem, you just said it.
It sucks that
Aaron
like
Gordon.
a
Yeah,
no,
no,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. That was
No, I was just gonna
ridiculous.
say like the MVP with the fatigue. I don't know if he can get it done, but I think we would all agree like he's the best player on the one like he's the best player on a 1 seed and he's probably got the best case like objectively. But then you bring in like the other narratives and stuff and how people are playing and where these teams ultimately end up finishing. But it's already an unbelievable season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, dude. It's unfortunate because I think he should win 3 in a row. I mean, he really should.
100%.
Not going
I
to.
think
He's
there's
not going to though.
Tom, you just said it. He's the best player on a number 1 seed right now. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like he's clearly just like the whole pack. Like clearly he is. He's won 2 MVPs already. He's literally not taking a foot off the gas. Like he's just putting it up like it's nothing.
It's in terms of accolades, tough scene for Embiid to just arrive at the same exact time. And Embiid's got no first teams. And think about how good, like second in the MVP voting last year, I think he was. So he lost to another center. Like it's a crazy time. Like these 2 centers are unreal and Jokic is going to best him out for another first team. So it's just like, I don't know, that's kind of dumb how those accolades work and they're like by position. And you think like it actually affects their contract and whatever. But it's crazy to see both of them at the same time. And Jokic is just out here building on every season right now, just continuing to elevate.
Yeah, I think one thing that like is like very clear with Jokic, we kind of touched on it before with when we talk about the Sixers, is like I feel like with Jokic, it's always the best play, right? Like he makes it look so fluid, and that it hasn't yet, but I would think that transfers better to the playoffs because a lot of Embiid, it's like that ugly, like, all right, he's at the foul line 15 times, like he's just getting hacked, finds his way into the middle, but Jokic is like legit out there making the legit best play at all times. So that definitely helps his case in the eyes of the MVP voters, but I also think it'll help the Nuggets case getting to the finals. So yeah, I mean, Jokic literally got drafted during a fucking Taco Bell commercial, dude, and he's just running through the league. Like he's so good. We said it. He hasn't slowed down since COVID, dude. Like legitimately has just gotten better every year. It's nuts. So I would love to see it. Like for his sake at this point, I'm almost like rooting for it. So like we can put the narratives aside and like it's just like Jokic has been the best and we can all just admit it. Like I think for his sake it'd be great. But yeah, I'm down. I'm down to ride the Nugs and then we can just all get fucked by them inevitably.
That's
When
what I'm saying.
MPJ's knee goes down, we could all just be like, well, that's over with. But
Yeah.
I can't make this a party of 4 right now. So I love the early Nugs flowers, but we're just all on board. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I
And
think
that's never worked.
Nugs,
That's
it's a
never
lot of it
worked
is the
on this
West,
pod,
though.
I
A
feel
lot of
like.
it is the West, though. The West is so like, what is good with it? Like, I'm not even like, I'm not like, I'm not acting like I love. Like, if the Nugs were in the East, dude, they'd probably be a 6 seed or a 5 seed. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
hype about the Nugs, but like compared to what I'm seeing in the West, like I'm not gonna get more hype about the Grizzlies. Like, do I think like Desmond Bain as a number 2, is he better than Gordon Murray? No, I wouldn't think so. Like, I mean, we don't know what we get out of the Clippers. The Lakers are out of it. Like, I mean, like you said, Luka has no second option. Like, realistically, Jamal Murray might be the best second option in this like whole list of the West contenders. Like, realistically, who's better
Yeah,
than Murray as a second option right now? I don't think.
Brandon, BI or McCollum.
But like, really, like,
If
I would say,
wait,
well,
so
who's the number
yeah.
1 option in that on that Pelicans team? I would think
You're
it's
saying
BI.
Zion.
Are you saying
Not that
Zion?
you have to pick. Yeah, I guess you have to pick one, but Zion's the best player. But offensively, like
I'd take McCollum over Jamal, honestly.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't think I would. I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
Nah,
I think he's
wouldn't either.
legit. I think he's
So's
legit.
Murray, dude.
Nah.
I think I like the Pels call because I'd like to see them in the playoffs and how this team does if they're fully healthy. Because like we're fighting over if BI and I guess McCollum, if everybody's healthy, like you have Zion in that lineup, not to mention
Yeah.
Joval, who's
I
a
think,
legit
yeah.
center. He's a
They
legit
went-
NBA center. Like
yeah, they could have beat the
Herb
Suns
Jones,
in that
dude.
playoff series without Zion. And I think, I don't know, not that you'd want to like blow it up before this thing even gets started, but like just thinking like they had a real chance at getting KD. I think them like the Grizzlies as West contenders. I think that like KD is definitely staying now. Not to whip up some trades, but I don't know. I think this Pelicans team is just so deep. It's so refreshing to see a team have a different box score every single night. Someone else goes for 25, whether it's Zion, Brandon Ingram, McCollum, or these other guys just making an impact, like Alvarado we mentioned, or Devontae Graham, like whoever it is. I think it's a nice refreshing pace than just like your typical star like Luka going for 60 and absolutely carrying. And then when it comes to playoff time, it's not so easy to do that. So I think that'll bode well for them.
All right. Then real quick before we get into hot takes out. So I did want to give us a chance at least to like look at the East and say like, all right, are we set on what teams we want on that side? So like we mentioned a bunch of times, 4 or 5 teams out of the East that are probably going to make it. Is that 100% it for you guys? Like, is there any other team that can make noise out of the East other than those 4 or 5, like Nets, Sixers, Bucks, Celtics, Cavs? That's probably it, right? So one of those teams is going to the finals out of the East. We can all agree.
I would even go as far as saying no other team will win a playoff series. That could be a hot take, I guess.
Okay,
But
I'm down. I was getting
No,
legitimately. That's what I'm getting at. Like, is there any team that can win a series besides those teams?
no, not real. Like I could say shit, but I don't think
Legit, be legit.
at the end of the
Is
day
there a
it's
team?
anybody.
Because
No.
I think the Pacers could win a series. Legitimately, I do. That's the only team I'll give. Like, they could
I
get.
don't know.
They could get the Sixers round 1 and beat them. Miles
But I think
covers Embiid, I guess. But
yeah, but I'm saying like I think the best Sixers team is beating the Pacers. Like if the Sixers are gonna have a legit squad, I don't
Yes.
think the Pacers
Yes.
have a shot, honestly.
I
The
mean, I
only
agree with
team
that.
I would be wary of, and I know they suck, but like the Heat, because what Jimmy Butler does in the playoffs, like I don't know. I feel
And
like
Bam, yeah.
Bam's playing like out of his mind right now. Like I'll put this in the hot take, but like one of my hot takes was going to be like the Heat should trade for somebody right now if they want to save their season. Like they're so Like, I don't know, can you move off a Lowry and get maybe like a younger point guard? Or I don't even know what they need, to be honest, but I know that they're not very good. But like, if there were a team not that you didn't mention in that top four that could win a playoff series, it's Miami, like 100%.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like I think that's kind of that's a good little segue because like yeah, we didn't even really have much to talk about with the Heat, and I think rightfully so. Like it's like what's really going on with them right now? What can we really even say? So like that's the perfect pedestal to just make a move, right? Like let's get us talking about the Heat again. I mean, they did just come off almost winning the ECF, so maybe we're disrespecting them, but it's always seems like it's so easy to disrespect the Heat because they're
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
like, you know,
but dude, they've been really bad this year. I think
so
they're just
bad, yeah.
like Lowry is just
I-
man, and like
I
you
can't
know,
keep
Jimmy,
track of
like,
who plays.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler doesn't even try in the regular
No, he
season.
just sits,
Like,
dude.
dude,
He'll just sit for like a week.
yeah. But dude, I don't know. I don't know. Haddock and Sully, I think I said the Heat would be my favorite to win a series not out of that top four, but I don't know, the Knicks too, man. The Knicks are
I
the
don't know.
Knicks are a 6 seed or a 7 seed. Nah, yeah, I don't know. I
They're
yeah,
just
I don't
gonna
know.
run
The,
into
the Heat,
someone
the
that's
Heat
so
is
much
the right
better.
call, but I don't think the Heat would beat any of those five. I think those five are just like they've separated themselves at this point. We can kind of evaluate them for what they are against each other, and
How
I
about
wouldn't be
this?
too
How
worried.
about this? Out of that group, right? The Celtics, Nets, Bucks, Cavs, Sixers, you said. What team is the most likely to lose a first round
Yeah,
series? Like,
So
would be the
glad you
most
said it.
likely?
Yeah,
we would
this
all agree. I think we all know.
I hope we maybe we all
Sixers
agree, but this was my
or
hot take. Like
Cavs
I think
or Net? I don't
think
know, actually.
dude, I think it's Philly. I think it's Philly, bro.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
It's so
yeah,
Philly, dude. Because let's like it has to be said.
but
Embiid's hurt by game 3, Philly loses, dude. That's it.
yeah,
Like it's as
I
simple as
know
that.
it's
If Philly plays like literally Indiana and Embiid doesn't play, I'm picking Indiana. I'm not even thinking that hard about it. I really like I could see I love what the Sixers have done recently, but I could so see them collapsing, dude. I could literally see them losing first round. Like I don't know.
if Embiid is
Harden Embiid,
if
that's too like
because it's not like yeah, you never want to like be like
Oh,
bake in injuries that haven't happened yet. But if you look at history with Embiid, like you almost have to at this point in the playoffs. Like if he doesn't play, give me whoever the Sixers play. If he doesn't play, because Kobe, I don't know, man. Tobias Harris is just not doing much. Like, oh my god, I don't know. Oh my god, I just read that chat.
dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're lying, man. Oh my god, the OKC put up 150 tonight.
Franchise record.
five
dude.
guys, 5 players on the Thunder had 20 points, and Aaron Wiggins went for 17. That's I'm my
That's
jaw
the-
dropped.
Oh, dude. All right.
Damn.
Do we gotta throw OKC into this talk? No Shea. How are they doing that? How are they doing that?
Franchise
Oh.
record 150 points against
It's
Boston.
That's where was it?
Tom, how many did OKC drop against the Knicks that one game? They
Like 145 or something.
Dude,
OKC's
they
had a
shot-
couple games here.
they
Like, damn.
They shot 60% field.
Jalen Williams and Jalen Williams just at it, Dan.
Oh my
Holy
god.
shit. Holy
Wow.
shit. All right. Okay, so back to where
That's
we were.
insane.
Yeah, all the East teams, yeah, maybe the Miami might be a good call to win a series besides those top 5. All right, but yeah, I'll just let this like flow right into the hot take segment if we have any. I kind of mentioned mine. That was my main one. I do think the Sixers like they're like so teetering on like losing in the first round if anything goes wrong for them because they don't have any type of depth. Like they are so thin. Fucking Matisse Thybulle is like terrible now. Doesn't even make layups. Like they don't have any really
Niang. Yeah, dude.
like Niang, dude. He's like dead ass there. Like I swear he's there sometimes, dude. It's sad.
Melton, Shake
Like
Milton.
both
Yeah,
Shake
shit,
and
dude.
Anthony, bro. Like, come on. So I think the Sixers could lose early. That's my hottest take. If I had to give another one, honestly, Cavs to the finals. Like I love this team.
Ooh.
I really love this team. Like I Cavs to the finals. But yeah, my bigger one is probably Philly to fall out first round.
Word.
Nice. I think I'll go with 2 then, 1 East, 1 West. Well, my East is kind of just it was my hot take before the year and little checkup. I said Hornets worst record in the league or in the East, and they're tied for the least amount of wins with the Pistons and the Rockets. So they're like awful. It is unbelievable to watch those games. Last night we watched Hornets Lakers. That was a pathetic display of basketball. I can't imagine LaMelo plays like much after the All-Star break. Like I don't know what this team is. And Gordon Hayward, Rozier, Kelly Oubre just got hurt, and PJ Washington. I can't expect all four of them will be there after the deadline. But speaking of that Laker game, there's nothing better than LeBron just going in there to Jordan's home and just crucifying the Hornets. So not sure what they're doing there. Keep LaMelo, continue to blow it up. They're the only team that struggles to blow it up. Like I don't know, they're really bad. But then I guess for the West, I think my hot take would be this is kind of bad because I guess this will be like a flip flop, but Suns to miss the playoffs completely. I think I don't even know how hot that would be at this time, but Devin Booker may be out for an extended period of time, and that team is
Out of the play-in or
team is I would say
So an 11 seed.
Give me Suns.
wow.
No, I would say to not make the playoffs, not to not win the play in and lose or not make the play in. Like this team is really bad without Devin Booker. Just like he can create his own offense better than, almost anyone in the league. And they struggled mightily against the Knicks. No one could get open. Like the Knicks have a pretty good perimeter defense, so they weren't getting these cheap looks. But Ayton has been like horrendous offensively. Like they have like locker room issues with Ayton. I'm sure every time they see Luka put up any stat, Suns fans probably absolutely wince at the fact that they got Ayton putting up 8 and 11, and Luka's going for 60 and 20. Luka probably averages more rebounds himself. But this team is not that you have to blow it up. Like they have great pieces like McCall and Cam Johnson. Chris Paul's like kind of on his way, but I don't know. I don't like this team at all. I definitely don't like them to win a playoff series.
That's a pretty good one, losing the play-in. That's like pretty, because I can so see that. Like that's a good one, Tom. And you mentioned locker room. I mean, shit, Nem, you said it last pod. They still are holding on to Jay Crowder. Like they just are like it's like unreal. The Suns. That's got to be one of the like most like good teams that's just in such turmoil. Like it just feels so toxic from a team that's still in the playoffs and was a 1 seed last year. All right, Dan, you got any hot takes you want to throw out here?
Not, man, because so far my hot take has just been ice with the T-Wolves. I have them in the Western Conference Finals, so I'm just gonna take my early L now on that one. But no, not really. Like, no, like hot takes right now. I'm down that the Nuggets are this good because I just love to see them in the finals. Like, I don't know if that's a hot take saying Nuggets finals plus Jokic MVP.
Yeah, I mean,
Jokic
MVP. You could stick on your morals since you had the Nuggets to the finals. Your hot take was already coming to fruition. I'll give you that.
Yeah, you got both 1 seed, Dan. That's pretty good, I'd say.
I guess if I just like a random hot take, Wizards win their play-in game.
Okay.
There we go.
Is Kuzma on the team?
Yes. That's assuming Kuzma stays.
Wow.
So I'll just toss it.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So Nem, what was yours again, Nem? Honestly, you gave it already. You said what was it?
What, my hot take?
Yeah, I thought you said you already gave it.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Well, my hot take in the East, I said at the beginning of the pod, but I guess D-Mitch finishing as first team All-NBA. Like I don't know how hot that is after a 71-point game, but like just something to keep an eye on. And then for the West, man, I guess I have 2 hot takes. One would be the Kings win a playoff series. And my second hot take, Paddock, I'll raise you. I don't think the Warriors make the play-in. I would swap the Warriors out for the T-Wolves.
Okay.
That would be my hot take. Warriors out, T-Wolves in.
Yeah, I don't know. Give me the Warriors.
You like the Warriors? You like the Warriors? Do you like the Warriors ceiling without Steph better than the Suns ceiling without
Yeah.
Booker?
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. Yeah, definitely. I
Okay.
mean,
I
Clay had like a
I
nice.
don't know. That's
Oh,
tough.
man.
I think they're both so mediocre without them.
Yeah,
But
you have to give the Warriors the edge.
yeah.
I
Okay.
like
I don't
DiVincenzo.
like the team at all.
Ty Jerome gets sneaky time now. I don't know what Steph's like timeline looks like. Clay went for 50 though. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll have guys like show out. Jordan Poole is good for 30 every third game.
Word.
I'm still so surprised at like how the Warriors are struggling this much. Now, obviously, you compound that with the Steph injury, but if I had to pick one, I would go Warriors over Suns. Yeah, definitely.
Word. All
Word.
right. Yeah, that's my hot take. Warriors out. Kings win a playoff series.
Word. Honestly, like I think we can like conglomerate hot takes and say like maybe the Nuggets and the Warriors, or I'm sorry, the Warriors and the Suns for like the first time in what, like 3 or 4 years, both of them don't make the playoffs. And I feel like we were like awaiting that. Like I feel like there was one point we were like waiting for Suns Warriors to like become a rivalry, and they never even played. So it'd be interesting to see like maybe they both miss, and that's a hot take in its own right.
But that's the playing game.
Okay.
The 8-9
And,
playing.
like that's the playing game. That could be a hot take in its own right.
Really, really quick. And we don't like just you don't have to go too deep into it, but like if the Suns and the Warriors didn't make the play-in, right? Out of these teams, who do you think gets in or stays? Utah, Minnesota, and LA, the Lakers.
Dude. I have no idea what to expect from AD.
I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
You're looking like a
I'm going T-Wolves. I'm
Yeah, I
going
was gonna
T-Wolves,
stick to
dude.
my guns and stay T-Wolves.
I think everyone would pick. I think you have to pick the
Yeah.
T-Wolves.
Yeah. Wow. No Utah love, huh?
Nah,
Or
Utah.
Lakers.
It
Wow.
was
Utah, we
Utah-
saw what the best they could do. They're not. Ah, Utah, dude.
Thunder.
I'll take the T-Wolves too.
Thunder. This is the game that turns their season around.
Oh God.
Maybe, dude. Maybe. We'll see. All right. I think is that a wrap? Anyone got any last words? I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Word.
What if the Warriors just play the Nuggets as the 8-1? That'd be tough for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warriors would dead ass win, yo. That would
Yeah.
suck for Jokic. I would love to see that.